Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A constant in the equation of a curve that can be varied to yield a family of similar curves. Computer science. A reference or value that is passed to a function, procedure, subroutine, command, or program. Any factor that defines a system and determines, or limits, its performance. A quantity, such as the mean or variance, that characterizes a statistical population and that can be estimated by calculations from sample data. A constant in the equation of a curve that can be varied to yield a family of similar curves. A course of reasoning aimed at demonstrating a truth or falsehood. The methodical process of logical reasoning. A fact or assertion offered as evidence that something is true. It was a strong argument that his hypothesis was true. A discussion in which reasons are advanced for and against some proposition or proposal. The argument over foreign aid goes on and on. A summary of the subject or plot of a literary work or play or movie. The editor added the argument to the poem. A contentious speech act. A dispute where there is strong disagreement. They were involved in a violent argument. Computer science. A reference or value that is passed to a function, procedure, subroutine, command, or program. A variable in a logical or mathematical expression whose value determines the dependent variable. If f, x, equals y, x is the independent variable. A quantity that does not vary. Not liable to or capable of change. An invariable temperature. Uninterrupted in time and indefinitely long continuing. In constant pain. Unvarying in nature. Maintained a constant temperature. A quantity that does not vary. A number representing a quantity assumed to have a fixed value in a specified mathematical context. The velocity of light is a constant. Steadfast in purpose or devotion or affection. A man constant in adherence to his ideals. A quantity that does not vary. Regard highly. Think much of. Music. The relative duration of a musical note. Hold dear. Estimate the value of. The amount, of money or goods or services, that is considered to be a fair equivalent for something else. He tried to estimate the value of the produce at normal prices. Evaluate or estimate the nature, quality, ability, extent, or significance of. An ideal accepted by some individual or group. He has old-fashioned values. A numerical quantity measured or assigned or computed. The value assigned was 16 milliseconds. Fix or determine the value of. Assign a value to. Value the jewelry and artwork in the estate. Relative darkness or lightness of a color. I establish the colors and principal values by organizing the painting into 3 values, dark, medium and light. The quality, positive or negative, that renders something desirable or valuable. The Shakespearean Shylock is of dubious value in the modern world. Computer science. The code that identifies where a piece of information is stored. A formal recommendation by a former employer to a potential future employer describing the person's qualifications and dependability. Requests for character references are all too often answered evasively. A publication, or a passage from a publication, that is referred to. He carried an armful of references back to his desk. The act of referring or consulting. Reference to an encyclopedia produced the answer. A short note recognizing a source of information or of a quoted passage. The most direct or specific meaning of a word or expression. The class of objects that an expression refers to. A remark that calls attention to something or someone. The speaker made several references to his wife. Computer science. The code that identifies where a piece of information is stored. A book to which you can refer for authoritative facts. He contributed articles to the basic reference work on that topic. Refer to. He referenced his colleague's work. An indicator that orients you generally. It is used as a reference for comparing the heating and the electrical energy involved. The relation between a word or phrase and the object or idea it refers to. He argued that reference is a consequence of conditioned reflexes. Put an address on an envelope. Social skill. Give a speech to. The chairman addressed the board of trustees. Written directions for finding some location. Written on letters or packages that are to be delivered to that location. Speak to someone. Computer science. The code that identifies where a piece of information is stored. Speak to. He addressed the crowd outside the window. The act of delivering a formal spoken communication to an audience. He listened to an address on minor Roman poets. Greet, as with a prescribed form, title, or name. He always addresses me with, sir. Act on verbally or in some form of artistic expression. Access or locate by address. Address or apply oneself to something, direct one's efforts towards something, such as a question. Adjust and aim, a golf ball, at in preparation of hitting. A sign in front of a house or business carrying the conventional form by which its location is described. Direct a question at someone. The manner of speaking to another individual. He failed in his manner of address to the captain. The place where a person or organization can be found or communicated with. The stance assumed by a golfer in preparation for hitting a golf ball. A businessman who buys or sells for another in exchange for a commission. Genetics. A segment of DNA that is involved in producing a polypeptide chain. It can include regions preceding and following the coding DNA as well as introns between the exons. It is considered a unit of heredity. Genes were formerly called factors. An abstract part of something. A key factor in her success. One of two or more integers that can be exactly divided into another integer. What are the four factors of 6? Consider as relevant when making a decision. You must factor in the recent developments. Resolve into factors. A quantum computer can factor the number 15. An independent variable in statistics. Any of the numbers, or symbols, that form a product when multiplied together. Anything that contributes causally to a result. A number of factors determine the outcome. Be a contributing factor. Make things factor into a company's profitability. How much there is or how many there are of something that you can quantify. An adequate or large amount. He had a quantity of ammunition. The concept that something has a magnitude and can be represented in mathematical expressions by a constant or a variable. One of the minimum number of parameters needed to describe the state of a physical system. Statistics, an unrestricted variable in a frequency distribution. The procedure of calculating, determining something by mathematical or logical methods. The branch of engineering science that studies, with the aid of computers, computable processes and structures. The branch of engineering science that studies, with the aid of computers, computable processes and structures.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.